Saturday. So right now my schedule is every Monday I am doing business related topics and posting those on LinkedIn. And every Saturday I am doing personal development. So over the last month or so, I've been working on visualization, imagination, clarity of thought, and communication. I am going to make it into a series. So the first one, I'm going to go over visualization, what it is, why it's important. But if you improve on visualization, you are going to improve in all four of those areas. Let's dive in. Communication and clarity of thought. I have really struggled with this. I thought I was broken. I could not get a clear image in my mind of how I wanted my life to be. So I have questioned my ability of visualization, imagination, clarity of thought, and communication my entire life. Did not do well in tests. I struggled all the way through high school, elementary school, had a hard time learning to read. I have a different kind of mind, you could say. I know I can get better, and I have certainly worked on this in the past, but I wanted to do a refresher. And I also wanted to share with you some of the tips and tricks that I've used on myself. So I don't know about you, but I find that I learn best from people that have previously sucked at something and persevered and became proficient at it. I would like to say that I have become somewhat proficient at some of these items. I communicate decently well. I'm not the best and I'm not the worst. I would say that at one point I might have been the worst. So our ability to imagine helps us inform our future, helps us have control over our future. If we cannot imagine our future, we cannot create it. And if you've watched me before, you know that I like to use artwork and imagery to address topics. And when I looked up imagination, this quote came up from Albert Einstein. Logic will get you from A to Z. Imagination will get you everywhere. So I believe that we're all artists, we're all creators, we all have the ability to design our life. And the more we can develop clarity of thought and imagination and visualization and communicate those visions, the better off we're going to be. Shifting to the creative mind. During this process, there will be critical thoughts that come in. And I'm also going to go over specific processes on what a creative person, a creative process should be in protecting it in the early phases from not only just your own critical mind, but other people's criticisms. And to say that you can develop and you can improve. We get 700 new neurons every day. You get to prioritize what you are focusing on if you take the time to focus and design your life. You can change your mind. It is a slow process, but it can happen. Here's another image to get us into the right brain, forward thinking, futuristic, creative mindset. This tree looks like a brain to me with a face on it. And there are pomegranates all around it. And the pomegranate is a very interesting fruit. It's spirituality. It has a lot of spiritual undertones and the symbolism of it. The fruit is hard to get in the pomegranate. You have to really work for it. So what is imagination? It's the ability to form a picture in your mind of something that you have not seen or experienced. So it can be fiction, an imaginary story, an imaginary character, or it could be a possibility in your own life. Your imagination is your preview of your life's coming attractions, Albert Einstein. The power of imagination makes us infinite. When we are imagining and brainstorming and coming up with all of the possibilities of our life, and in each moment we have decisions, and that makes it quantum. That makes time not linear but quantum. And time in the past is linear, but the future is quantum. And this is a simple timeline that I developed to represent this, to make this abstract concept more digestible and super simplified. Even if you just take 3 options from your current moment. So right now I could get up and run down the street screaming at the top of my lungs, waving my hands violently in the air. I could walk over and hug my dog. I could walk into the backyard and pick a flower. Those are just 3 random possibilities that I could do in this one moment. However, I've decided to sit here with you. And each of those possibilities have perhaps 3 other possibilities and 3 other within that and that and that. And you can see how it just infinitely multiplies. The imagination. We live in both the invisible and visible worlds. One is what we see, and the other is what we imagine, which influences what we see. So, of course, we have the physical, visible world in front of us in the present moment, and then I have my invisible world where I can imagine that I am in a spaceship blasting off into outer space and floating around with the stars. We can imagine influences what we see. If we are not aware of something, we are not likely to see it. For example, if you've ever bought a new car and you go to pick out a new car and you think, I haven't seen anybody else in this car. This is a rare car and I haven't seen anybody else driving this car. And I know none of my friends have it, so I'm going to go ahead and buy it. Then you hop in the car, you buy it, and you drive away, and all of a sudden you see the damn car everywhere. The same model, the same color, the same shapes. It's because it's now at the forefront of your conscious mind. Your subconscious has seen it, but there's only so much that our conscious mind can process with all of the information we see day in and day out. And clarity in image in the mind's eye is different than verbalizing your vision. I have had so many ideas that I bring to other people and I see the end result and a couple of the steps so clearly in my mind, but I cannot articulate clarity of thought around my vision to another human to sell them on it being a good idea. So I had always thought that I have bad ideas, because I am not able to verbalize my vision. And here in this presentation, I'm going to walk you through steps to protect your vision as you develop it. I have released my vision onto other critical minds far too early without allowing it to develop and without taking these steps. Improving focus is a very important skill to develop if you want to improve your vision, your imagination, creativity, clarity of thought, and communication. They overlap in so many ways, which is really cool and gives you a lot of bang for your buck. If you are able to improve in any one of these areas, all the other areas by default will also improve. Art, I have found, is a fabulous way to improve. Here's why. Because a lot of these studies that they have done on people, they take an image, ask you to close your eyes and hold the image in your mind's eye as long as you can without letting any other thoughts come in, a form of meditation. And if you do this practice, you will find that other thoughts will come in. Why am I doing this? How long has it been? How many seconds? How many seconds are left? If you're aiming for 60 seconds, you're thinking, has it been 3 seconds? Has it been 5 seconds? You start chattering in your mind. And art is a fabulous way of doing this in a more natural way. So as you look at the bowl of fruit and you're examining every detail in that bowl of fruit and you're trying to put that down from pencil to paper, that will help with focusing on an image, looking away, and containing that image in your mind's eye for as long as you can. And you'll notice some artists have to do this. You have to look a lot. Some artists look and draw for quite a while. And if you can look and draw for quite a while, you probably have really good focus and you probably have really great vision in your mind's eye. I know what some of you are thinking. You're not artistic, you're not creative, you're not good at that, you can't draw, you can draw stick figures, all of that negative self-talk that's a lie. Like I said, I believe everyone is an artist. Everyone has, if you can write your name, you have the ability to make art. Your vision matters too. There are all different kinds of artists out there. I became a great artist when I took into consideration everything I had learned and all the art classes I had taken and all the teachers that I had had. But I became free with art and creativity when I stopped judging myself and comparing myself to other artists. We all have our own way, we all have our own style, we all have our own imperfections in our art, and that's what makes art art. If we were going to draw a perfect picture, we would just take a picture with our give yourself phone. A break, give yourself grace. One of the times I reinvented myself and I wanted to paint, I simply went to the art store and bought colors that I liked, that I was attracted to, and that I thought would work well together. And I bought probably 10, 20 different colors, and I bought canvases, and I just swirled and meshed and molded all of those colors together on different canvases. That was my art therapy. You can do the same. A child can do it, you can do it. Of kinesthetic, visual, and auditory learners, and I understand this is a simplified version. Everyone has a different tendency or dominance in one of these areas. They can be very useful in determining what you are dominant in by understanding what they are and that people are different. Before I understood that people were different, I just thought I was broken because I didn't learn the way that my friends learned. I thought that I must be stupid. I can't learn. When I learned about the difference, that not everyone is a visual or auditory learner, I was a kinesthetic learner. Kinesthetic learners learn through physical sensations and movement. Visual learners learn through seeing clear images with words, and auditory see words and hear words. And you may be thinking, what does this have to do with vision, imagination, communication, and clarity of thought? Well, it turns out that people have visions in these areas as well. And if we find that we fall in a certain category of learning, if you're a kinesthetic learner, you're probably a kinesthetic visualizer. If you're a visual learner, you're probably a visual visualizer. If you're an auditory or words-based learner, you're probably an auditory or words-based visionary. Maybe you hear words in your mind, or you hear sounds in your mind, and that's your vision. That's your visualization technique. A musician, let's say. And you can't really hold images in your mind's eye. It doesn't mean you're broken. It just means you're dominant in the auditory and words-based category. That's it. You're not broken. Just me knowing that alone freed me. There's a link down below. I have no affiliation. There's no email collection. I don't want anything from you. It's just a link sharing a simple questionnaire that I found with 5 questions. And it's a multiple choice where you get A, B, or C. For example, the first question is, when choosing a book to read for fun, what type would you pick? A book with lots of pictures in it. B, a book with lots of words in it. Or C, a book with searches or crossword puzzles. And if you answer mostly A, you are a visual learner. If you answer mostly B, you are an auditory learner. And if you answer mostly C, you're a kinesthetic learner. I am a kinesthetic learner. I did not learn that I was a kinesthetic learner until I was out of college. I didn't even know during college. I tested out of high school, left early. I graduated college when I was 20, or got a bachelor's degree in sociology, and I did decently well, but I think if I would have known this, I would have gotten more A's. I remember vividly going through the insurance. I'm an insurance agent, and I've been a licensed agent for 20 years, and going to do my first exam down in LA to get my certification or my license. I was terrified because I had not done well. I do not do well with exams. I hate the double negatives, and I don't like true and false because there's usually a situation where you can find that something is true in a statement or that something is false in a statement. So my brain does these things to me, and I don't do well with tests. So I'm terrified, and I go down there. I think I am for sure going to fail this thing. And I got there early, and this woman was outside, and she had flashcards. And she said, "Hey, will you help me go through these flashcards?" I thought, sure. So I went through the flashcards with her, and I started memorizing the answers. I swear, if that woman wasn't there with those flashcards, I would have failed my test. I'm a kinesthetic learner, and I do well with the flashcards. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit the bell so you're notified when the next video in this series is released. Please comment down below. Let me know what you learned today or what part was your favorite part of the video. And also share it with someone that you think will find it valuable. The next video that's going to come out next week is going to be all about exactly how clarity of thought goes into imagination. Why do we need it? How does it lead to success? Then after that, we're going to be getting into communication and clarity of thought. Certainly having new ideas is wonderful, but if we don't know how to communicate those new ideas and get help from others, we're really not going to get very far. It's a really exciting series. I'm excited to share it with you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.